All right, hey, welcome everyone to the Topherspin Meteorites Meteorite Crew Hangout for June 24th. We got the usual crew with us, just enjoying a little time talking about meteorites and showing off stuff, and we want to offer the best experience for everyone. So I'm going to open up to anyone and everyone. Got a story? Got something to show off? Love to hear it.
I got some Zhob. I'm probably saying that wrong earlier today. Let's see. Oh, that's not the right thing. How do I screen share on this, Jody?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
There should there should be a green button on the bottom with an arrow.
There you go.
There you go. Can y'all see
There
that?
you go. Yep. Zhob. Oh man, that's the new Pakistan one.
Yeah, he actually just posted that he's still got some. There's actually a really nice, like 0.273 gram piece with a huge piece of crust on it that he just posted about.
This is amazing.
Yeah, Topher, that was sitting in his room at Tucson. That's when he unveiled it. So this is the stuff that finally came in 5 months later, or whatever it is, with the mail system.
Huh. Jeez. So what we're looking at here is not the freshest. It's stale as far as meat. No, it's not stale. But it's a really fresh meteorite fall from January 9th. So we're talking about 6 months ago. Fell in Pakistan, and like we have it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying I just looked, and yeah, it's 0.273. I mean, he's got a bunch of pieces listed, but this 0.273 gram piece he's got looks like it's more crust than anything else.
If you're on that, could you send him a message to reserve it for me, please?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at it on Jody's phone. Hang on.
Oh.
Well, hang on. I got it. I got you.
That's on his wall.
If you read the write-up, I'd be really interested to see some of the thin sections from that. If they took any shots when they were doing the classification, because it said some of the chondrules had, I guess, purple glass inside of them.
Wow, that's going to be a John Mixter. He's going to want that. Yeah. So the he we're talking about is Mike Farmer, world famous meteorite hunter. He was in Tucson in February, and I was in his room with Mike Kelly, who was just talking, and this had just came into the U.S. It was February 2nd, whatever, and it was on display. The main mass was on display in his room, and it was just spectacular to see that fresh of a meteorite there.
I didn't get a response back, but I'm wondering if he still had the little piece in the room that was sitting in front of it. So, Pakistan's known for a lot of, high quality gemstones. And they had taken like a little fragment and like mirror buff, like polished this like round cabochon shape out of a little piece to show what the inside looked like. And it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen done to a chondrite.
That's crazy. I had a metal blib in my Gatuto, which is the Kenyan fall that just happened April 24th, I think. And I was looking at it under magnification today, and it has like a purple hue to part of the metal. And it was really cool to see. Of course, John Mixer picked it up right away and was asking for close-ups and stuff, but that's my personal collection. That's not available. That's too fresh and too new.
So Topher, was that like on the inside and on like a cut or broken face, or is it on the outside, and it like got annealed or something on the way through the atmosphere? You know what I mean?
Knowing this is personal collection that I haven't put away. This is how far behind I am. I don't get to play with my own collection. I don't get to put it away. Witness Falls. And in here is the Gatuto. And to answer your question, I believe it's not through the atmosphere. Knowing Mike Farmer and how he brings fresh stones to market, this is a non-natural cleave. If you understand my terminology, let me see here. If I can show this off. It's this Gatuto is really fresh. This is pre-rain. Later. Okay, there it is. So this is pre-rain, and there we go. Okay.
You're a brave man for handling.
I know, it is so friable and fragile. Look at that beautiful crust. But that's not what, now Oz has the other half of this. I cut this in half, and Oz has the other half. This is the only way that we could get one that was this nice, is by going in as partners. So here is the metal bleb. I really want to handle it carefully. Okay. There's the metal bleb. And it is really unusual in this fall to have a huge metal. And now that you can actually look in there and see, it's not really just a bleb necessarily. It looks like it's a line. Wow, this cell phone really takes great zooms and photos. I love my cell phone. But you see how, let me get my pointer. I have a new pointer, by the way, because I realized my other one was a little bit, okay, right there. See that, how it's purple?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if that's something like included inside the metal.
Well, I'm going to have John Mixer watch this replay because he's going to be very interested in what that is, because it's not part of the metal. It's actually that little bit right. Wow, I don't want to touch it. Sorry, I'm not going to get it close enough to touch it, but you see what I'm talking about, that little round purple inclusion there, and under different angles, it really comes out purple. But you can see it's definitely different material than the metal. Yeah, so this is the new Kenyan Gatuto. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful, fresh. The freshest recovered, well, I don't know for sure, but I believe this is the freshest recovered meteorite on Earth. Except for maybe that weird iron looking one. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen this? There's this, I guess it is a meteorite.
The one that has the dimples in it and it's real smooth.
Exactly. You would never.
With a big old crater in the middle, like.
Yeah, they dug it out of the ground. They said it was warm. I mean, everything is just like, and it looks like a oversized lima bean. You know, like a piece of slag lima bean, and we're supposed to believe that that's a meteorite. And sure enough, everyone's saying it is. And when you look close enough, you actually see flow lines around the lips, around the edges and stuff. Not sure where that fell. Probably Africa or something.
I think that metal one was India.
India.
Yeah, and it went to GSI. That's like, you know, the black hole over there.
What's GSI?
Their Geological Survey Institute or whatever it is. It's like going to the, it's like going into the state collection.
No, it's secure next to the Ark. Hey, David, David Priest with us, everyone. Good to have you.
Thank you. Oh,
yeah. So, who wants to show off something or tell a story? Looks like Mike Kelly. So
I don't do too much show and tell. I do mostly micros. So this is relatively large for me. This is a 7-gram piece of Viñales. So
Nice.
what caught my eye on there, and it's kind of hard to see,
Oh yeah.
you got the little bit of red on there, right?
Uh-huh.
And at first I was wondering, okay, was that a hammer stone? You know, did that hit something? So I messaged and asked, what's the deal with the red paint on there? And this happens to be one of the pieces that Higgins brought back from one of the early trips where I guess they were still confiscating everything. So apparently this whole stone got a paint job red with the star on it, just like the little magnet that came with it. And then was all cleaned off afterwards to make sure it made it through the airport without getting any scrutiny.
I remember seeing that and hearing, I believe one side of that stone had the Cuban flag and the other side had Che Guevara painted. That's the way it was able to get out of the country. When it was basically painted up to look like a knickknack that you can buy in the streets from the kids, it was painted like just a little rock like that, like a souvenir rock from a kid. So right through customs, right through, get on your plane, sir. Have a good day. So that's super cool that you have some of the paint still on there, because that's part of the S in the value of meteorites. Do people know what I'm talking about when I say the 5 S's of meteorites?
I mean, I do.
All right. I think Cameron, I may have, because Cameron was at the Meteorite Mansion in Tucson 2019, and I did a little warm-up presentation. We had Raymond Borjas talk about the Aquazarchus Cuban fall, and that was a hammerstone as well. Excuse me. And before I was the opening act, if you will. So for about 5 to 10 minutes, I talked about the 5 S's of meteorite value. Excuse me one second, guys. I've actually had quite a few conference calls today, so my voice is kind of hoarse. But when you go to buy a diamond, there's the 4 C's of a diamond, and I'm not going to give the presentation now, but there's 4 C's to a diamond. There's cut, color, clarity, and carats. And when you get all those facts together to a gemologist or a buyer, it has those attributes are how you calculate the value of the diamond. Well, the same can be said about meteorites, but there's 5 S's. So I think next week I'm going to have that little presentation ready. I'll do a little screen share, and I'll do my little presentation on the 5 S's of meteorite valuation. Does that sound like
I'd love to hear that.
Oh, good. And Christian is a newer collector, so that's awesome. So good. I'm not going to give any more clues about that. Then that's what that'll be a next week's little topic. Anyone want to show something?
I could show a smaller piece. It's something you shared with me now that we're on the topic of Gatuto.
If you turn your video on, I can show you. That's Christian. There we go. All right, I'm going to make you spotlight. Yes. There it is.
Here's a small piece. So it's got a label. So get to keep track of it and not open it, which is nice.
That's a nice little case and setup. I like that.
Yeah, it's smaller than I thought, but I like it. Nice compact. It's almost like a little framed picture. It's got
like
the
that.
information right here, 1.7 grams.
That's a good piece.
And that's the date, so 4/24/2020.
Now, just to be clear and transparent, that is John Higgins from Outer Space Rocks. And Christian, do you happen to have the magnet and the COA handy?
I do
Oh,
actually.
please show that.
Yeah.
John is a professional meteorite dealer and a friend of mine, and he really went overboard on professionalism when it comes to his personal packaging of the Gatuto. He has inspired me, and I'm going to make similar packaging for my Aquazarchus hammerstones. But look at this job he did. That's a fridge
Good
magnet.
quality. Yeah, it looks like it's vinyl color,
Oh, I like
not
that.
cheap plastic or paper. So this will last a long time. It's a
And
nice material.
And you know, I
Good
have
picture. And
a stainless steel fridge, so mine won't stick. But that goes with my display. Look at that. That's
see what
awesome.
the back says. There's the back.
Yeah, John.
Pretty cool.
John at Outer Space Rocks does a fantastic job of packaging and just a real professional dealer. Yeah, he did it. He knocked it out of the park with that packaging and the whole display.
Yeah.
All the little extras mean so much. Yeah. Yeah, all the little extras make it so enjoyable because I open a lot of packages of meteorites and I'm surprised at the rock in a box attitude. I bought extremely rare stuff that's expensive and I have to ask for a COA. So there's like I like putting stuff in my packages. So like when I from Topherspin Meteorites, whenever I send out a package, I usually send about 5 photographs with it as part of the package. And I never repeat those photos except for once with Cameron, I think. But I never repeat those photos. So if you keep ordering from me, every order you get 5 more pictures or whatever, and you keep adding to your collection, whether it's something you have in your collection and you want to display it with it, or you just want to keep it in a in an album, or just keep them to bring around and show your friends, whatever. It's just a little something extra I do, and I think it's pretty neat. And hopefully the people who are buying the meteorites are enjoying that as well.
You betcha.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the value. It's a record at least.
Yeah, and what was really cool is I obviously send out pictures of beautiful meteorites, and then people buy those beautiful meteorites, and then other people are now collecting pictures of their meteorite, and I use that meteorite for marketing. So you may buy a meteorite from me and see it in my marketing. I always ask for your permission to do that, obviously after the fact, but yeah, I think it's a pretty neat thing. John had a really really oriented Sakota Lin, just a beautiful, sexy, and Mirko Grau put it on a coffee mug. So now you can have a coffee mug with his meteorite on it. It was so beautiful. Well, I can dig through some stuff I have laying around here, or I will be glad to pick up the camera. Oh, Mike has something. Or I'd be glad to pick up the camera and walk around and show you a shelf in my office.
There's one more. Let me see if I can get the focus. Try that again. There's one more Gatuto.
Oh,
so I think the last one was Christian. So don't feel bad that yours is small. That one's a 0.7. I like that one because it was a lot of crust for the size.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing about this one was this was a natural fragment that was found. It wasn't parted off of a bigger piece. So there were a couple little fragments found with no rest of the stone, just kind of off all on their own. And this was one of those little ones that was a natural individual fragment.
Was that part of the ones that were collected near the roadside?
I don't believe they were collected near the road site, you know, where that
Okay.
was an obvious one that like hit and broke.
Gotcha.
It was a separate little area that they had. I didn't ask for coordinates, but I probably should.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Mike. I have.
That's nice. That's really cool.
Let me see here. I have a few here that are. These are roadside hammers. I know that's super loud. Okay, so I have a few here that are roadside hammers. Let me make this spotlight real quick. Yeah, I guess today's hangout's going to be about Gatuto. So here's one of them. That's a good size piece. But yeah, I mean, this one is, well, I don't know. It's big. But
that
I
packaging, good grief.
yeah, and I have this one as well. This is 7.4 grams, and there is crust on that one. I also have this other one here, 7.2, and then little guy. Now, some of these are the roadside hammerstones. So if you guys know the story behind it, there was pictures found. Well, people were walking down. Hold on, I gotta put this away. So there was a street near the Kenyan Reserve or Natural Park, and they saw a bunch of white marks on the blacktop. So they went and inspected, and they found that these white marks were where the meteorite hit on the ground, and it's a really soft meteorite, and it chunked apart into pieces. So they went and picked up all the pieces that they could along the roadside, and some of those are the ones that were picked up by the roadside. John has confirmed that. So I think that's really cool to actually see a hammerstone effect on, you know, a hammerstone by definition is something that it hits that's man-made. So a street is man-made, therefore it is a hammer. And I'll fight anyone who wants to argue.
There you go.
You guys want to take a look at one of my shelves?
Sure.
Should we go to the shelf behind me here that's usually lit up, or do you want to go to the cabinet?
The glass cabinet.
Cabinet. All right, let me do some lighting effects. Okay. Oh. Just so everyone knows, I do have a gun, and I do not ask, and I do not fire warning shots. If you come in my house without permission, you will get shot. This is my meteorite cabinet. And let's go take a look. Just take an overall gander. We have up there is some Camel Donga. Nice slice of a chondrite Eucrite Monomict. The problem is everything falls when you touch everything. So this is the Camel Donga. Really glossy and black. So that was that one is from Australia in 1984. Well, see, I told you, every time you touch something, something else falls. Camel Donga.
Topher, you better start clearing that room for another cabinet next to that one. That one's looking pretty full.
I I know, it's an addiction. This is the Eucrite Monomict. Beautiful slice. We're going to get a lot of reflections, but I'm not taking stuff out of cases. This is the slice of Sericho, then a small individual of Sericho. More Sericho. This one is a John Higgins one, just a beautiful piece in a caliper made by my friend Travis Howard with my ID plate that he also made for me. And then there's some slices I did back there. Here's that Eucrite that we're getting classified right now.
Woohoo!
Yeah, look at that crust.
Yeah, I look at mine every day and I just put it back down and just tuck away with the silica gel and wait. So,
It has 3D crust on it.
it's incredible.
Then over here is my Chelyabinsk. I have, this one is a 12 gram with rollover lip. So look at that. The lighting over here is really, let me open this up, see if, no, it's too dark outside too. But yeah, you can see the rollover lip on this, the entire thing. And then look at how crusty that is. Yeah, so I love Chelyabinsk, so I have a bunch. Here's some of the glass I imported from the windows, the 25 windows I purchased. Here's an impact melt breccia. So this is a bunch of stones that have impacted together and melted. And that's just an end cut. Really
That's a
can't
nice
see it.
piece.
Yeah, Chelyabinsk is beautiful and varied. So you see those, you saw the individual. These are oriented with rollover. Yeah, look at how complete rollover on the entire one. I don't know if that's visible to you guys or not, but it's definitely oriented with complete rollover. Now this is something that's neat because I have another 70 some odd grams back there as well, but this shows you what happens when the breccia impacts and melts. You have one that is up here that has not melted as much, obviously. Then on the bottom one, you just see rivers of melt. And that's a coarse melt versus brecciated pebbles. So that's an interesting look, different look at Chelyabinsk.
That's very cool.
I love Chely so much. So that's Chelyabinsk. Then you move up to Carbonaceous. So under Carbonaceous, the first one is a CV3 with 800 grams total known weight, and I got 12 of them right here, including it in. Beautiful CV3 with the telltale tan chondrules.
That's some nice looking stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's in the cabinet. So behind that,
What's the number on that again?
NWA, whoa.
10273 or something?
10223.
Okay.
NWA one, so yeah. Now this one is another beautiful one. NWA 12268. It is a CV3 also. Got this from, as you can see, Craig's Lyman. 3 pieces with about 14 grams total. And just gorgeous. Look at that CAI right there, calcium aluminum inclusion. Tiny little chondrules.
Gotta love them CAIs.
Yeah, that's the earliest stuff of the universe. Then over here is a 1 of 5, a CV3 anomalous. So 1 of 5. It's NWA 1465, and this is a beautiful end cut that I cut myself. I'm so happy. Look at this. No caliche in those cracks whatsoever. Totally clean. I don't know what the weathering is on it. I don't know what the weathering rating is on this one, but I bet it's low. I did clean it really well. So yeah, there's no caliche visible whatsoever, and beautiful chondrules on the interior. So that's another CV3. And we go to, this is the newest one on my Carbonaceous shelf. The merch. Everyone has to have a piece of Murchison.
Merch in the house.
This stamp was actually given to me by Oz as a little friendly gift. And I'm very appreciative.
I've got more if anybody wants some.
Oz is a hell of a man. And by the way, Oz, let me say congratulations on being one of the newest members of the IMCA, International Meteorite Collectors Association. Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
So there's my,
excited.
yeah, you know, you've been in it for years, and then you took a break. So I don't want people to get the impression that you're just, 6 months into it, but you're a very knowledgeable man and a man of ethics and honor. So that's why you deserve it.
Well, thank you.
So this is my 1.3 gram slice of merch, and this is the ridiculously expensive stuff when you can find it. All right, so that's 2/3 of the top shelf. Now we go to Brahin. All of these are Brahin. We start in the back with translucent slices with a high, these have a high polish on them, no etching, except for this one is etched. Wow, let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Wow, it does not want to focus wherever I go. There we go. But one, you'll see that one is definitely acid etched, where the other ones are just polished. But those are beautifully translucent olivines. And I really should get them out of these frames and put them in better holders. Okay, now this is a absolute gorgeous 119 gram, high polished, super high quality end cut.
Oh, man.
Do you want the tank? Yes, we want the tank.
Look at that.
Otherwise, I gotta break it and throw it away.
Mike,
Just
I think
kidding.
you need to. Oh, there's no breaking and throwing away of this one, man. This I've been in love with this since the first day I saw it. I was like, I must own that. So that's that one.
That was my pocket talking to you. My apologies, I was on mute. It unmuted.
Thanks.
And that was not towards the meteorite.
Okay. I was like, I'm not going to break another one. This is part of a, I think about a ½ kilo block that I bought. And I had it stabilized, reverse electrolysis stabilized by Craig's Lyman, and then cut and polished by him as well. And it turned out just gorgeously, as you can tell. I'm gonna wipe all these down as soon as this hangout's over. Take all these nasty oils off them. But that's a nice piece of Brahin right there. Another 97 grams. Now, this is a 78-gram piece. And you might think, God dang, that's ugly. What the hell is going on with this thing? Let me try it over here. There are certain pieces of meteorites that are susceptible to harsh earth environments, and they're not stable. So Brahin is not a stable meteorite. Well, this was a super distressed piece that if it was left alone, it would not be with us a year later. So I decided to try my hand at saving it, and it has been stable for a year now. No change whatsoever in a year. I don't know why it's not focusing, but I'm really happy with this one as far as being able to save it myself, because it was, I mean, it's an ugly shape, but it's still a beautiful meteorite. And this is olivine, believe it or not. Is that the craziest piece of olivine you've ever seen?
All snaking around in there.
It was cut and stayed. Everything else eroded underneath. And I went under there with my dental picks as carefully as I could to remove all the oxidation and all the dead metal without taking that off. But it's just a beautiful, look at that etch. So this is a personal little favorite of mine because I was able to salvage it. And if I didn't step in and restore it, it would have been gone. And that's one of the things I think we have a responsibility as meteorite collectors, is to, honor these things. They're billions of years old. Let's not just discard them or keep them in a unsafe environment. This is the one that hurts. This is the one that fell and broke.
Random question, but is Dronino considered unstable?
Dronino is an attack site, and that's pretty stable. That's about as stable as they come. Yeah.
Well, they don't know that it's an attack site because they don't list it as such.
But it's still susceptible. Still susceptible to some tarnish, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of course, it's treated as well sometimes.
Yeah, you would want to wash off any oils, obviously, and anytime you see any, and if you have any transmission fluid, automatic transmission fluid, you can just rub a little bit of automatic transmission fluid on it, or gun oil, like every 6 months or so. That's probably the best thing to do. And then just keep an eye on it. If you see an obvious change, get it serviced. But this is a beautiful Brahin. It was like a half egg, solid olivine, and it broke. It fell, but I get to keep this little piece now anyway now. So that's my piece of Brahin. So that pretty much does. Oh no, there's a whole another shelf over here. We got Tatahouine. Let me see here. See if I can get it without dropping. All right. So this is Tatahouine, a witnessed Diogenite, one of only 11 Diogenite falls that were witnessed from 1931. The green monster.
I love that stuff.
Now this is another carbonaceous. It's a rare one. It's a CO3.0. Not sure how many there were or are. This is Matt Streams from Streaming Meteorites. He is the main mass holder. So here's about a little over 2.1 grams of it. And yeah, Matt does a really good job of labeling his things. That extra time that it takes to do that and make it look beautiful, it's appreciated, Matt. So these are two nice little crusty pieces. Very rare. The rest of this shelf, whoa! Sorry guys, didn't mean to scream. The rest of this shelf up here is my collection of carbonaceous gifts. Yes, I have a collection of carbonaceous gifts. This one is, wow, from Mark Lyon. It's a, wow, it won't focus. There we go. It's a NWA 12416. It's a C3 ungrouped. Total known weight of under a kilo. And I have half a gram of it. And it's fusion crusted like a mother. Oz has a little piece as well. When he was over here, Mark came over and gave us each a piece. This is NWA 12925. It's a CK5. This was a gift from Dustin Dickens at Top Meteorites. We were at the University of New Mexico together, and we were invited there to be vendors for their 75th anniversary. And he was giving everyone little in their welcome bags, a tiny little fragment of this. And he turned around and gave a 5 gram just hunk at me. I was blown away. That is not focusing. That is a gift from Larbi Chateau. I can't pronounce the last name, Chenoy. But it is, there's only 680 grams. I have a 1.3 gram crusted. It is a CK6. Very, very friable stuff. Up there is a gift from Mark Lyon. It's NWA 12416. It's a C3 ungrouped, 1.6 grams. And then another gift from Craig's Lyman. That's a CR2. It's not classified, but it's 23 grams.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Please don't fall. Okay. Let's go over here and take a look at it. So this is a CR2. I don't know how, whoops, I don't know if I should have shown that. All right, so here we go.
Wow.
Hey Topher, was that one of the truly unclassified ones, or is that one that got a provisional and never?
I need
made it
to
through the
ask him. If I have it labeled like this without a NWA number, means it's either unclassified or pending. But sometimes I'll note it as pending, but sometimes the classifications don't go through and I remove pending. So better record keeping is needed. But I have to ask Craig. But look at that. Now, if you notice on this one, as I showed on the other, see all these fracture lines are just full of caliche. Not true on the other one I showed. That's why I really tend to believe that's a lot fresher than this meteorite. The weathering grade on it is probably a lot higher with all this caliche that has worked its way in. So here's the exterior of it.
It's just terrestrial intrusion, but if you ever whack that with a black light, it'd probably be pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, usually the caliche will pop and glow.
Huh.
That's
Try
a nice
something.
piece.
Let's try something, guys. Okay. There you go.
That looks pretty cool.
Ask and ye shall receive, my man.
Yeah, all brights actually have a lot of some mineralogy in there sometimes that'll actually, you know, kick off some cool colors too. That are actually, you know, part of the meteorite itself. But yeah, I got a new convoy too and did the same thing. Went through and checked out, and you know, a lot of the stuff with caliche on the outside was glowing.
Oh man. Now, if you have caliche on the outside of a stone, vinegar is quite effective. Oh, you know what? I got to put this in a case. Hold on. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, if you have even a, you know, I'm talking about like a chondrite or something like that. Stick it in some vinegar, and that'll remove the caliche. With a little bit of agitation and brushwork, you can get most of the caliche off. So, can he stack it up there? Yes, he can. All right. Right here is something pretty cool. You're about to see NWA 425, the main mass. You're talking about a very early NWA number. We're in the 13,000s now. This is the 640 gram main mass. The total known weight is 640 grams. This is something that probably no one else has a lot of. NWA 425.
What's the class on it now?
It is in, wow, I cannot believe I don't have that on the ID. It's probably L6. Yeah, I believe it's, oh, you know why? I know why. It's not classified. It's provisional. One of the early NWAs that was only given provisional. There was a block of them, and this was one of them. So it's not officially classified. But I've been asked by Carl AG that if I ever wanted it classified, no, it wasn't Carl. I'm sorry. I forget who it was, but if I wanted it classified, they would definitely do it and add it to the record. This is just an unclassified Eucrite. Eucrites have amazing crust. So let me open this puppy up. This is Gary Fujihara of, oh man, what's Big Kahuna Meteorites. So this is an unclassified piece, and quite honestly, I do need to make space on my shelf. So if someone wants to purchase this, let me know. But this is a beautiful Eucrite. Or is it? Come on. There we go.
That's some nice lines on there.
I know. That is just some beautiful Eucrite crust. Look at how dark it is. So the crust actually wraps around. Yeah. So that's a beautiful piece of Eucrite that is up there.
That always makes me wonder, you know, did somebody else, you know, buy another stone from that fall and it's sitting out there with a class out there somewhere?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just not tied together, you know?
Because obviously this is a fragment of a much larger stone. And who says it has to be a single stone? Yeah, so maybe I'll look around for something that was classified during this time period. No, I don't play those games. It was purchased as unclassified, and that's what it is. But jeez, Eucritic
nice.
crusts, Eucritic crusts, two of my favorite words. I'm not going to put him away just yet, because back here, this is another one. You're right. I do need to make room, so this one is available if anyone wants to purchase it. Oh man, I can't. There it goes. All right. This is a Howardite from Sahara 2018. Matt Stream from Streaming Meteorites. Look at those inclusions.
Wow.
Just, it looks like gravel, it's cosmic gravel.
That's a nice chunk.
Yeah, I like this one. Look at this hunk right there. Just lovely. And Howardites are not magnetic at all. So that's what a uncut Howardite looks like. The natural cleaved outside. Lots of like 3D. I mean, there's so much going on in there. And this is, I believe, is Camel. Maybe someone can correct me, but I believe that's Camel right there. Yeah. Anyway, just a nice unclassified Howardite. Not everything has to be classified to be, you know, to have value or beauty or something. The oomph factor. Got to do geometry to get this back in here. All right. NWA 12229, I think. Let me check.
13229.
Nope, 1227. Howardite.
That's a nice
This
size.
is. So we saw the Camel or whatever it was from in you saw how it was a crystal. So here you actually see a crystal that's been cut sideways. So like here's another, you know, these are other Camel crystals in here that are really 3D. Like all these things are 3D. And I know you guys know this, but it's just wild when you think about like this pebble right here might have been one of those 3D boulders in the other one. But this is a beautiful Howardite. If you notice, we have a tiny little speck of right there. That may be a tiny bit of metal, but I really don't feel it. But it definitely has oxidation around it as if it were metal. So here's the other side of it. Other side is so plain and ugly.
I like it.
You're not going to focus on me? There we go. Look at that crust.
Hey, Topher.
Yep.
On the Howardites, it's probably pyroxene as the dark crystals. It was Camel. You would stick to a magnet. You know, Camel an alloy with iron in it.
So what did you say it was?
It's probably like a dark form of pyroxene.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, please correct me whenever I don't know what I'm talking about. Look at that. That's contraction cracks in the fusion crust going down into a exposed stone and then into the sliced stone. Let me grab a drink and I want to tell a quick story. If anyone has anything to show off, they can in the meantime. Because that's the end of my top shelf.
Oh. I've got a nice Esquel I can show you if you're interested.
Ron, everybody.
Yeah, hi. I just joined in it. Just got back from the
Alright.
schools, but my hair's crazy and babysitting grandkids. Let me get that Esquel I just bought.
Sweet. He's saying it Esquel, but I believe it's called Esquel. Everyone,
Sorry. No,
everyone says it something differently. Now, when you go to
my
Tucson,
bad.
you hear different
My bad.
names for it. No, I was going to ask if you knew for sure, but Esquel is a beautiful, beautiful Pallasite.
Beautiful Pallasite. They call it the king of the Pallasites or king of the Pallasites, something like that. Get it open here. I got this from Ann Black from Tucson this last. Yeah, let's see right here. If you can see it.
Wow.
But it's mostly, it's the top section right in here is
Oh.
almost complete crystal.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece.
Oh my word, it is. I wonder how big the top crystals actually were before it was sliced and messed with,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Here's the other side.
Oh,
You know, that beautiful?
yes.
Yeah, she cost a pretty penny, let me tell you.
I don't doubt it. That is gorgeous, man.
That's probably one of the most expensive rocks I have. And I mean, just wafer thin. Look how thin this thing is.
It's only wafer thin.
I mean, it's like,
Wow.
I don't know,
That's
2 millimeters, 3 millimeters.
that's why they lost the crystals, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how they get the translucency also.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I have some thicker, like a Semchon, I got ones like a 1/4 inch thick, but it had very little translucency. I can show you a couple more nice pieces. Let me see. I got, oh, about this Cape York. Just a second, where is that? There it is.
There's my Esquel.
Well, they're all pretty. Okay, this is a Cape York that I also just got. Has 2 very nice inclusions. I had my choice of one with or without inclusions.
Oh
Yeah,
man, they're
yeah.
intact.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get with.
Pardon me?
Oh, you had to get the ones with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Oh,
love
look at that.
That's gorgeous.
That's
Oh
nuts.
my.
Yeah,
Dude.
the other side is just as nice. It's polished on both sides, or etched on both sides, rather. Is it? Oh, no, it isn't. I'm
No.
sorry. No, it's just one side. Okay, I'll show you the nice side.
Yeah, that is gorgeous Cape York from Greenland.
Yep. Another.
Cannot believe you have 2 inclusions. I mean, 2 beautiful
I know,
entire.
that's why I got this one. I got from Moritz Carl. Got him from
Yeah,
this last time.
really
I
good
spent
program.
some bucks. I'll show you one more that I got. It's a
How many grams is that? About 100?
This one is, let me see, 120 grams.
Wow, that's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it also costs a portion amount of money.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say that's not a cheap one either.
No, then let me see. I have a spring water I wanted to show you. Let me go back in my record here just a moment. Got 2 look very similar. Okay, there it is. Now this is an end cut spring water. It's smaller. It's about. Let me see here. There we go. Doesn't have any translucent. You see, it's not focusing. Come on, focus.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
But this
Now-
one I got from, let me see.
Mike Farmer, probably.
Exactly.
Now that's spring water from Canada.
Yeah. And the other side is that it's an end cut. I got it because it's an end cut. I like to see both sides.
That is phenomenal.
That
Now,
filters
can you show the other side so we can take a mental note of something? Because I'm going to contrast it to a half piece spring water that I have. Look
Okay.
at the, there you go. Look at the olivines. They look like, I would say, figure eights or thing. Okay, so we're looking at like two linked circles of similar size and similar shape. This is an anomalous slice that I got from Farmer. This is 38 grams. All right, let me show this one real quick. Okay, so this one is spring
Mine's
water.
39 grams, by the way.
Wow, almost
39.4 to be
identical.
exact.
Beautiful crystal all the way around the outside.
Nice.
But look at the
Ooh,
inside.
beautiful.
Barely any are joined, and I have elongated ones. Farmer said it was unique.
Huh. That's a very nice piece.
Yeah. So trying to, yeah, you see, however you want to light it, you can see different things.
Yeah, that's what I like about these things. It's almost like two tones, almost green and orange.
Exactly. Look at that. But what's weird is those two, like they're not joined. They are one. Yeah. So kind of an anomalous one as well. But man, that Cape York, I can't get my mind off that Cape York.
There's one more I wanted to show you. I got this from Blaine Creed. Yeah.
Please.
This one's actually very rare. I have a piece of Hakita, and this is the unoxidized. It's, I think, one of the larger pieces of unoxidized Hakita, as he was explaining to me. Because most of it has been transformed into its oxidized versions. You know, it's another Pallasite, but this is the Hakita. Let me see. This one is 32 grams. It's another end cut. But see how shiny that is? That doesn't happen very often. That happens because most of it has been weathered. It's such an old rock. But there's only a few pieces known to be unoxidized. This is one of the bigger ones, he's telling me. His write-up, let me see what he says. Very rare. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. Found long, 90 grams oxidized. Most of it is oxidized to magnetite and hematite. So this is a true iron. I mean, it's a Pallasite.
Wow.
But again, one of those rare finds. I can't get it in focus quite.
But you can see it's obviously, it looks like the normal Pallasite metal distribution and structure you'd see.
Yes.
I don't have a piece of Hakata here, but I do have one that looks very similar. So this will show everyone how special that piece is. I've never seen one like that, Ron.
I talked to a fellow on Facebook a few months ago. So the biggest one he'd ever seen was 15 grams. And this one comes in at 32, almost a little over twice the size.
That is phenomenal.
I was amazed. I didn't realize what I had when I bought this thing. I gotta get this in here just right.
Welcome to the show, Grant. Good to see you.
But it was one of those deals that just had to fall into my lap.
Man, this is.
You know what I mean?
Well, if a deal like that falls in your lap again, remember I have a lap too, buddy. Let me show you. This is not Hakita, but this is what Hakata normally looks like. See how it's, or not normal, but see how it's more fossilized than
it's
metal.
kind of a flat polish.
Yeah. Now here's the question: can anyone name this one?
Oh, that's not a Higgins, you said.
No, it's not.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't have a clue.
Oh shit! I have one of these. I can't remember. Well, now I have.
It's from Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Japara.
Ah, I never heard Japara. That's a new one on me.
Yep, Japara is a Pallasite, and I really want to trust my memory and say Indonesia. Maybe someone can fact check me on that. But yeah, this is a rare, not as rare as yours. This is, I should say, this is a quality piece. It's not rare, it's just a quality piece.
Okay.
Most of it is not this nice. But it's really, really weird because when you look at it, I mean, it is flat and firm, okay? There is no divots, there is no voids, it is flat. But you look at it, and it looks spider webs.
It does.
I am so interested to know what causes that.
Just for heck, I'm going to show you one more rock I got from Blaine this last year. It's kind of an interesting one.
Let's look at the outside.
That's really cool.
And there's olivines on the outside. Look at that. Yeah. So look, if you guys don't have Japara, haven't heard of it yet, search it out. A lot of times you'll see it, but all the olivines have fallen out. They turn clear and fall out. So what you'll have left is a piece that's been like super glued all back together. This one is gorgeous. You can really see the internal colors in it.
I want to show you a piece that I have here. It's called Lamont. It's from Kansas. And the thing that struck me, it's a Mesosiderites. Got this from, again, I got it from Blaine Reed. This is a piece he sold me. I mean, it had so much metal in it. I mean, that was, to me, it looks a lot like the Tatahouine that they found a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You know, if you compare the two, I have a piece of Tatahouine here I got.
Oh, good.
But if you compare the two, they're almost identical.
Yeah. Tatahouine seems a little bit sharper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Little softer on the angles of the ends of the metal.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have a piece of Tatahouine as well, and it is just.
It's beautiful. First time I saw this, blew my mind. Then
Yeah.
I saw this, I thought, wow, that's. I got a couple of kind of like this. These are the two best examples.
And those are massive pieces, man.
Yeah, this one, with Tatahouine, again, it's an end cut. There's the other side right there.
Gee, hold on a second. Show that again. Oh my.
That's the end cut. I have a smaller whole piece, but this is the larger. It's just like that.
That is.
Looks like
amazing.
a bottle opener.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Probably a little brittle. It's very thin.
Oh, is that what it is? Poletto? So I was misreading it.
Hold on,
But the Tatahouine was what kind of caught my attention.
Yeah.
That's the one side. The other side's also polished. That's the other side. It's just like it.
And depending, yeah, that's beautiful. Just it popped into focus all of a sudden, man.
Yeah.
And Mesosiderites. Let me grab one real quick.
This one I have a lot of
Okay.
material on.
So this is my little piece of Talsint.
That's Tatahouine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's got some big blubs in it. Huh.
And if you look at it at different angles, it turns brown.
Huh.
Let's see if we can get it to do it. See how it's black and silver?
Yeah.
now it's turning brown and tan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A beautiful, beautiful Mesosiderite. I have another meso here that is, I think, even more beautiful. Let me see here. NWA 12949. This is Craig Lyman's main mass, and he did the work on this piece. And it is just super, super cool.
My wife's outside the door playing hide and go seek with my granddaughter, 5 years older. I was swimming all day. She wore me out, so my wife's turn.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very nice.
So
Do you think they're gonna have Tucson show this next year?
I seriously hope so. I have a house reserved.
Yeah, I've been wondering, they're having spikes in COVID these days. Where I live in California, then in my county, we're not spiking, but the rest of California is going crazy. They're a little more conservative here.
Well, Arizona's a hot spot right now.
Yeah, I know. I saw the Trump thing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that.
Well, let's not get into that. Just nobody's wearing masks.
I have my mask, but that's because I'm at work.
Yeah, we were, my wife and I, because we're in the age group that's most affected. We're over the 65 group, and we avoid people. And we go wear masks. Went to Costco for the first time this morning in 3.5 months, stocked up.
Nice.
Well, we just had the disinfecting crew come through here, so it smells of bleach. So
Yeah.
They come through with this little atomizer, and they spray atomized bleach all over everything, and they disinfect. So
do they wipe anything down?
Oh yeah, we have we have a professional crew that comes through. And
Okay. So not just they don't spray it; they're just actually wiping.
They spray areas. They wipe down the, what do you call it? The frequently high touch areas.
Yeah.
How many people here have to go into the office still?
So I'm retired, so I'm cool.
Just Grant. Working hard, man. Working hard. Yeah, I work every day, but for my home office.
Yeah, that's better. And my son and his wife are both work from home. They go in the office 1 day a week. So we're comfortable with having the kids here.
Well, nuclear power plants tend to be fairly hands-on. So.
Are you in Palo Verde?
No, I'm out in Illinois.
All of our labs are opening up next week.
Which power plant do you work at?
Quad Cities nuclear power station.
Oh, okay. I used to work nuclear years ago, but
okay. So were you out in the Western United States?
I worked for a company that did structural analysis of large structures, and they specialize in nuclear power plants and dams. And I was the instrumentation engineer. I had to go inside containment more times than I care to think. With a buddy suit, and I actually got a dose of radiation one time. There's a file on me at the FBI where they keep those things. From a reactor in Germany, they call it a Heißdampf reactor. It's a hot water reactor that's been decommissioned, and we were in there doing development work for EPRI, the Electrical Power Research Institute. So I was crawling underneath this big, the jelly bean containment type. I was right at the bottom, crawling into a little crawl space, trying to put an accelerometer right at the bottom of this thing. I stepped in a puddle of some kind of goo, and then when I went out and stepped on the dosimeter, bells and whistles and clacks, and oh my God, went off like crazy. I had to go do the decontamination, and never want to do that again.
Take the Silkwood shower.
Yeah, pretty much. Been there, done that. Glad it's over.
Yeah,
I don't have cancer or something. I pegged the dosimeters. I don't know what that was. I stepped in, but it wasn't good.
Like the elephant's foot at Chernobyl.
Yeah, pretty much.
This little fragment that I was just showing is a another little gift. This was from the main mass holder of, was it Talsint? The miso we just showed, Talsint. So this is a this is a little, now it has a hair on it. This is a little individual. And where is it? There it is. So one of the questions last week during the hangout is and it wasn't a right or wrong question. It was a preference question. What's better as a collector? What do you go after? Do you go after a whole, like an individual? Do you go after a slice? Do you go after
both? Both.
Yeah.
And shelf size, not the little tiny, you know.
Exactly.
Most things I have, you know, because I take my stuff to classrooms, you know, elementary schools, and you know the stuff that isn't so fragile, and I'll let the kids handle it. So they've got to be big enough that they can see what it is and handle. And I've done probably 15, 20 of those now. I haven't done one in a while because of the COVID thing in the schools, but should be picking up here next year, I'm hoping.
That's super cool. There's a lot of outreach that goes along in the meteorite community.
Yeah.
I have been trying to get into schools to do my spiel.
Come on in, Emily.
It's hard. They don't trust middle-aged white men and near kids these days. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but it's just like they wanted me to do so much stuff, like fingerprinting, backward ID stuff. Really? Oh, it was ridiculous. Hey, you got a young one.
This is my granddaughter Emily. She's 5. Say hi to Mr. Topher.
Hey, Emily. Good to see you.
Hi, Emily. We're talking about meteorites. She knows all about them. She grew up with them. So did her brother.
Now, do you hold on one second?
Okay.
Emily.
There you are.
Are meteorites cool? Do you like them or not? Or are they boring rocks?
Boring.
Oh, you're killing me!
Wrong answer.
No!
You're supposed to say, I love meteorites.
Hey.
Applaud your honesty.
Hey, weren't
You're
you playing?
My bedroom. Go.
Weren't you playing hide and seek? Yeah. Why don't you go hide somewhere?
Yeah, go hide. See you later.
Okay, this is my best hiding spot.
They can't see you over there.
That's hilarious.
She's a cutie.
That's awesome.
She's a little baby.
No, Nana's your baby.
That's right.
Your baby.
Okay. You want to stay here with me?
Hey, Grant, I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can definitely refuse, but I know that you do a bunch of outreach, and I know that you do a bunch of sales for funding of outreach. Do you have a moment to spend with us and tell us what that is and what you do and who benefits?
Oh, absolutely. So we specialize in outreach with our organization. So pardon video quality, but
what's the organization's name?
So the Organization for the Proliferation of Space Studies is our organization, and what we focus on is anything that has a potential impact with space-related STEM. And we actually began working with the Planetary Studies Foundation. And as we began working with the Planetary Studies Foundation, we got into meteoritics, the sale of meteorites, acquisition. And so working with them, we actually are able to get, we launched a Sponsor a Kilo program where we send 1 kilogram of NWAs, unclassified, to schools along with microscopes and different gear to help process them, books. So really a good way to utilize the specimens to begin all the different discussions. We also do Moon to Mars, which is in support of NASA's Artemis program. So our Moon to Mars kit is obviously it's a lunar and a Martian. So we have various lunar specimens and then Eucrictes. So we provide those specimens to schools. Everything that we do, we provide to educators. We do so for free. or at as slow of a
You're
cost as possible.
you're providing planetary sets to schools for education purposes.
Correct, and we do so for free. And also science communicators. So people who have the ability to have these specimens and get these specimens out into either the hands of students or out in front of larger audiences. That's what we want. We want those conversations to be had. We want those conversations to have deeper meaning, greater impact. So we provide samples to help further those goals, to help do those things. So, but obviously everything has a cost. So we do sell meteorite. We have larger meteorites that we acquire and we sell. We've also been lucky enough to represent a couple of states. We're working on actually coming into representing another estate, and all the sales go towards the operation of the organization. And the organization, we also do, so the things not related to meteorites, I know this is meteorite talk, but the things
it's
not
all good.
Right, it's all space related.
Yeah, man.
So as we go into other space related STEM areas, we just launched a program called ACES, which the Advanced Individual Sponsorship for Exemplary Students. That's a global program, and we provide one-on-one development solutions at no cost to students who have been identified as being above and beyond, and students that have a great potential to impact space-related fields.
And what age group are you targeting?
So 18 and under, well, 12th grade and under, to be more specific, or whatever their country's equivalent is. I believe if we have anybody across the pond, up to the second year of 6th form, if I remember their educational system correctly. So going up there, we do, our first ACES recipient is actually in India, and Tatahouine, she's got 2 nods from NASA for habitation design. She's got, she writes in, she's 17. She's mastered 5 programming languages and is currently working on a deep space hibernation chamber design. But her true passion is she wants to learn astronomy. So she lacks the infrastructure locally. So what we did was we provided her a professional account with iTelescope, and that allows her access and control to 4 observatories across the world. The most significant and most known of which would be Siding Springs. And that's in Australia. So she's got now an account with them. We also did a full tech upgrade to her her desk, as it were. So we got her dual monitors, brand new computer, all the peripherals, and we provided that for free, along with support texts. So we have a full set of textbooks that we provide to her, detailing the basics of astronomy, radio astronomy, astrophysics, astrodynamics, stuff like that, all the things that she would need to know. And then we provide one-on-one mentors. So we actually do, just like this, we do screen sharing and mentors, and we're about to really kick it off with her. And so we're having a really good time. Then we have another student.
That's exciting.
We have another student who's in engineering. So we are providing him a college level Arduino programming kit. What's funny, it's a programming program. Right, so we're providing him a college level programming program. And again, all the textbooks necessary to establish a really good firm foothold in that area. And then from there, we are going to be funding trips. Once the COVID-19 travel restrictions are eased at the NASA facilities, we are going to begin one-on-one mentorships with him in person. So we will be actually funding his travel and his lodging to actually go and learn hands-on about mechanical engineering or propulsion engineering, specifically what he's interested in. So we want to work with propulsion engineers and get him some hands-on experience. But yeah, that's what we do. And
wow. So the guys that are designing potentially the propulsion systems that may take men to Mars are benefiting from meteorite collecting today.
Absolutely, absolutely, and
That's
that's an
fantastic, Grant.
undeniable connection.
You just blew our minds, Grant. You're
Hey,
doing
Topher?
fantastic work. You're doing
Thank you.
fantastic work. Stay at it, buddy.
Hey,
Thank you.
Topher, can you spotlight me?
Yep, sir. We got
I've done
Oz.
business. I've done business with Grant. This is actually an L5. Sorry, my camera sucks.
I remember that one.
NWA 12888. It's just over a kilo, bookended.
Oh, geez.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot going on in there, man.
And what's really nice is Grant's presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey! I love seeing my logo.
That's awesome.
And it comes with a thank you card from the organization. And then, of course, I printed the Met Bull for it. So it's one tidy little kit and a nice piece.
That's awesome. Earlier, before Grant joined us, we were talking about presentation and how important, how important it is for a client to feel that he's getting more than a rock in a box. You know, the presentation, the professional documentation just brings it to another level, and I strive for that as well. But I've noticed your work online, Grant, and we haven't had a chance to work together yet, but I'm sure we definitely will. Glad you're able to join us and get some plug in. We're going to put this on YouTube, so I'm going to need your help putting a little link on there, and we'll hopefully get you some traffic. And he's got a lot of meteorites. When he says he has meteorites for sale, and you can sponsor a kilo, that's still ongoing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The sponsor kilo?
Yep, Sponsor a Kilo program is still ongoing, and we do have a waiting list of schools, and we do so globally. So we've got Italy, Japan, Korea. We're currently working with a program in Pakistan. In fact, tonight I just worked with a farmer and purchased a sample of the recent Pakistani fall, and we're actually returning it to Pakistan for outreach purposes since their government decided to seize a large portion of that original shipment. And they will probably, unfortunately, at the local level, the outreach level, they will not actually see it. So we're actually buying a sample and returning it to a local outreach program. Through alternative means, if that's a way to say it, we can't return it. We cannot return it in the mail. So we're returning it through alternate means. But we're working with them actually doing. We're going to be providing the outreach program with all the gear they need to do. So we're going to be providing with telescopes and solar glasses and textbooks and a meteorite collection and so forth. So, and part of that collection is actually going to be that recent Pakistani fall. So that'll be really cool.
That's really cool. What are the details on the Sponsor a Kilo program? Is there a fixed cost if I wanted to sponsor a kilo?
Yeah. So the Sponsor a Kilo program right now, as it stands, is we're running it at it's $150. That is a kilo of NWA unclassified, along with a microscope, books, and a set of sandpaper, so that they can do windowing, do basic studies and such as that. And the microscope is a USB microscope. The reason we go with the USB microscope is the pretty ever-present nature of cell phones. So it increases accessibility because you can actually operate the microscope from a cell phone, and it also allows screen sharing and recording. So it opens up accessibility, and it's very easy for educators to utilize. There are not all these nuanced special things to learn, and it also keeps costs down. So,
that's amazing.
And then that sends it anywhere in the world. So we've got, and it also, if you wanted to sponsor a particular school, so if you have a school in mind, we actually can provide it. So it doesn't have to be a school on our list. Sponsors can choose to openly sponsor whatever is available, but then we also do specific requests. To
I really hope that we can drum up enough business off this one video that we can get at least $150 flown your way and get one school crossed off your list, Grant. Hope that happens.
That would be awesome. I would really appreciate it.
You have a website, Grant?
Yes. So the website is expandspaceststudies.org.
Let me get a pencil out. I'll write that down.
Pardon?
Got a pen here somewhere.
While he grabs a pencil, could you repeat that one more time for us?
What is it now?
Yep. So the website is expandspaceststudies.org.
Is there an underscore under studies?
No, it's just all one word. So EXPAND SPACE studies STUD.
SPACE expand space.
Yep.
I see expand space studies.
Yep,
Okay.
and the link was just shared there, so that is an accurate link.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
So those who are with us live have the link. That's awesome. Grant, I'm glad you're able to join us finally. I was hoping that we would get you one of these times.
I'm glad. I'm actually in the office early tonight, so I work the night shift, so we're in the office early, and I saw it pop up, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to tune in.
That's
and
fantastic.
actually, it's funny because one of my coworkers, I was talking about having lunar meteorites, and one of my coworkers didn't believe me, so I actually brought a little lunar. I brought a little lunar tonight, and it's one of my little hands-on specimens that I utilized. Yeah, let me block that out. But so yeah, one of my little lunars I use in the Moon to Mars kit. So we actually loan. This is a loaner. So we loan out I believe it's a 4-gram sugartite, and I think this is I want to say this is a 9-gram. And it's funny because I don't actually have the card with it. So I know it's a lunar because it's out of my lunar collection, but I didn't bring the card with me, so I would inaccurately identify it if I didn't have the card with it, so I'd rather not, but it's a lunar.
NWA 11778 or something like that.
11.
Yeah, that's what it looks.
788. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big piece.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the loaner. So we actually send that kit. It was before COVID, the last stop that it made was actually at a preschool. So they had all these preschoolers hand a little piece of the moon, hand a little piece of Mars, and they were totally blown away by it. So yeah, that's our little loaner kit.
That's so cool. Awesome.
I just looked up your website here. I've seen some pieces you have. Oh, interesting. I have to check this out a little more.
Yeah, on the website, I have to do some updating. Recently, we've been working a lot with our individual sponsorship programs and working with a lot of other projects that we have going. So we haven't been on the website doing the maintenance like I should, but we do have more pieces going up. My little, I make jewelry. That's my, what would you call it? Therapy. So that's my therapy, is make jewelry, and we put that up on the website as well. So we've got a bunch of new meteorite jewelry going up on the website here soon. So
cool.
That's great. Yeah, these hangouts aren't supposed to be sales and plugs, but I don't care. It's my place, my rules.
No, I don't want to steal the show in any way. So.
No, dude, this is what the hangouts are for, to pass along information like this. And when I post these on YouTube, we're going to have another whole bunch of audience people come later who are going to be able to hear that they can. I mean, $150 for a kilo of meteorites is ridiculously low under cost to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Then you talk about all the added benefits of the microscope, all the freight, the textbooks, and just the organization behind it. Like, I am happy to get that word out. So yeah, there's a strong meteorite community on Facebook. and we want to expand that. So we're inviting everyone to hop on board and join us. Anyone have something they like to show off?
Oh gosh.
Because if not, that is actually a really good breaking point in today's video.
Okay.
I definitely appreciate everyone joining us tonight. We had a bunch of people live. I know, Kyle, you just joined us, but you just missed out. You got to watch the replay. Everyone, thanks for joining. We'll be here 1 week from tonight again. Thanks, crew. Have fun.
All right, take it easy.
See y'all, Mayor.
Bye.
Bye, guys.